Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into ASMR.
Ooh, ASMR.
Yeah, you know that thing you've probably seen online?
Yeah, the videos?
People getting tingles from whispering and tapping.
Oh, yeah.
Millions of views. Some people swear by it.
For relaxation.
Yeah, or like better sleep, or helping with anxiety.
Interesting.
I have to admit, I'm a little skeptical,
Sure.
but also really curious.
Well, skepticism is healthy,
Sure.
but the interesting thing about ASMR is it might be more complex than just the tingles.
Okay.
People describe it as this deep sense of calm or even euphoria,
Mm-hmm.
like meditation or a gentle massage,
Okay.
triggered by things like crinkling paper or soft whispers.
Euphoria from crinkling paper. That's a bit hard to wrap my head around.
I know.
It seems so mundane.
Mundane. Yeah.
I did read one article that described it as like
Oh, really?
the feeling of champagne bubbles.
Okay.
Like that sudden burst of pleasant sensation.
Interesting.
But why would those everyday sounds create such a strong reaction in some people?
Well, that's what researchers are trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Some think it might be connected to synesthesia.
Synesthesia?
Yeah, where your senses get mixed up.
Oh, right, like seeing sounds as colors?
Exactly. And believe it or not, it could even relate to misophonia.
Misophonia. That's a strong dislike of certain sounds.
Right. It just shows how diverse our sensory experiences can be.
So some people are wired to find certain sounds really pleasurable,
Yeah.
while others just hear, well, crinkling paper.
Yeah.
But how did this whole ASMR thing become a thing?
Yeah, it feels like it just exploded out of nowhere.
It does.
You're right. The awareness of ASMR is surprisingly recent.
Okay.
The first documented online discussion was actually in 2007.
Wow, really?
On a health forum, these people were trying to describe this shared experience but didn't even have a name for it. Then in 2010, Jennifer Allen, someone active in these online communities,
Okay.
she gave it the name Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response,
Oh, wow. So that's
which we know as ASMR.
ASMR, okay?
Yeah.
It's a very descriptive name.
Yeah.
But I read somewhere that the actual phenomenon itself might be much older
You're right.
than 2010.
Exactly. There's actually a scene in Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway
This is Dalloway.
from 1925.
Oh, wow.
It describes a sensation really similar to ASMR.
So people may have been experiencing this for centuries
Exactly.
without a name for it.
Yeah.
That's wild. Imagine having these tingles and not knowing what they were.
Right.
But if people have been experiencing this for so long, why are we only studying it scientifically now?
Well, the formal research is still pretty new,
Okay.
but some early theories link ASMR to grooming behaviors in primates.
Grooming behavior.
Yeah, like how monkeys pick bugs out of each other's fur.
Oh, like how monkeys groom each other?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, it's not just about hygiene.
Yeah.
It's a form of social bonding, Creates a feeling of closeness and trust.
So you're saying ASMR might be tapping into some ancient evolutionary pathway in our brains
It's possible.
related to touch and connection.
Yeah,
That's fascinating. But let's get into the research because I want to know what science is saying about all this.
sure. One of the earliest studies was by Barrett and Davis in 2015.
Okay.
They confirmed a lot of the common triggers that people report.
Okay.
Whispering, tapping personal attention.
Hmm.
They also found potential links to synesthesia
Oh, wow.
and some evidence that ASMR might have positive effects for people dealing with depression.
So that's starting to move ASMR away from just being a quirky internet thing
Yeah.
and into the realm of like
Right.
potential therapeutic value.
Exactly.
With other researchers out there.
Well, in 2017, Fred Borg, Clark, and Smith,
Okay.
they conducted a study looking at the personality traits
Okay.
of people who experience ASMR.
Interesting.
And they found that people who are open to new experiences
Okay.
and those who score higher on neuroticism.
Neuroticism.
Yeah, basically being more emotionally sensitive.
Okay.
They tend to be more susceptible to ASMR.
So personality plays a role too.
It seems like it.
That makes sense. But does ASMR actually change anything in the body?
Yeah,
Or is it all in our heads?
that's a great question. And that's what Poirier and his team wanted to find out in 2018.
Okay.
And their findings were pretty significant.
Okay. Interested.
They found that watching ASMR videos actually induced measurable physiological changes
Oh, wow. So there are actual changes.
in people who experience it.
What kind of changes did they see?
Well, they observed a reduced heart rate,
Okay.
which, points to relaxation,
Right.
but also increased skin conductance,
Increased skin conductance.
which is often associated with arousal or excitement.
So it's like this mix of being relaxed and stimulated.
Exactly.
Wow. So there's actually something happening in the body.
Right.
It's not just a subjective feeling.
Yeah, this really lends more credibility to the whole ASMR thing.
It does.
It suggests it's more than just a placebo effect.
Okay.
There are real measurable changes happening.
But to really understand what's going on, we need to look at the brain.
Exactly. In 2017, Smith et al.
Okay.
They conducted a study using fMRI focusing on the default mode network, or DMN.
EMN, I'm not familiar with that. What is it?
Think of it as the part of your brain that's active when your mind is wandering.
Okay.
Daydreaming, lost in thought.
So like when I'm staring at the ceiling, zoning out.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. What did they find out about the DMN and ASMR?
Well, their research suggests that during ASMR, there's this unique interplay of different brain regions within the DMN.
Boy.
It seems like ASMR might be creating this special blend of relaxation and heightened sensory awareness, which could explain why people describe it as both calming and intensely pleasurable.
Now that is fascinating.
It is interesting.
It's like ASMR is tapping into a specific part of our brain.
Yeah.
And creating this unique state of consciousness.
It really does seem that way, but we've really only just scratched the surface of understanding ASMR.
I can imagine.
There's still so much to learn about why it works, who it works for, and its full potential.
This is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see why people are so fascinated by ASMR.
Yeah.
It's not just about weird tingles.
Right.
It's about exploring the complexities of our senses and how our brains experience the world around us.
Precisely. And speaking of the world around us, the next part of our deep dive will explore how ASMR is moving beyond those YouTube videos, making its way into mainstream culture.
Mainstream culture, like where?
From Netflix to even the Super Bowl.
Like the Super Bowl? Now I really need to hear more.
Wow, right?
Stay tuned, listeners. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Before the break, we were talking about how ASMR is starting to pop up in some pretty unexpected places.
It is.
Like the Super Bowl. Did you ever think whispering and tapping could make it to the Super Bowl?
It's pretty remarkable. In 2019, Mucklub Ultra Pure Gold. They actually aired a Super Bowl commercial featuring Zoe Kravitz using ASMR techniques.
Oh, wow.
Like tapping on a bottle, whispering into microphones.
So they were really leaning into it.
Yeah, it was a definite sign that ASMR was going mainstream.
Yeah, it feels like it went from this niche internet thing to like a full-blown cultural phenomenon.
Yeah, and even before that Super Bowl ad, there were hints that it was breaking into the mainstream.
Okay.
Do you remember that Netflix documentary series, Follow This?
Yeah, I think so.
They did a whole episode on ASMR creators.
Okay.
Giving viewers a glimpse into the world of, you know, these ASMR artists and their dedicated fans.
So it's like really bringing it to the forefront.
Yeah. And it's not just documentaries.
Okay.
We've seen ASMR incorporated into TV shows like...
Oh, really? Like what?
Real Time with Bill Maher, The Good Fight, even Criminal Minds.
Wow.
It seems like Hollywood is starting to recognize the captivating nature of ASMR.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not just a quirky internet trend anymore.
For sure.
What I find really interesting is how artists are starting to use ASMR in their work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like blending the lines between sensory experience and artistic expression.
Musicians like Holly Herndon and Claire Tolan, they're experimenting with ASMR in their music and performances.
Interesting.
Creating these immersive multisensory experiences.
So they're using it as like a tool.
Yeah, and back in 2015, there was even an ASMR-inspired digital art installation called Touch Museum.
Touch Museum.
It featured video screenings designed to trigger those signature ASMR tingles.
Oh, wow. So it's not just audio.
No.
It's like...
It can be visual, too.
Multisensory.
Yeah.
So ASMR is evolving from those like DIY YouTube videos to high-profile commercials, TV shows, art installations, even music albums.
It really is incredible how far it's come.
Yeah, in such a short time.
I know.
But what does it all mean?
Yeah.
Why is ASMR resonating with so many people?
That's a good question.
Is it just the novelty of it, or is there something deeper going on?
I think it's more than just novelty.
No.
You know, in a world that feels increasingly chaotic and overwhelming.
Yeah. For sure.
ASMR offers a kind of digital sanctuary.
A digital sanctuary.
Yeah, a space to slow down, disconnect from the noise, and just be present in the moment.
You know, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's like a mini vacation for your mind.
Right.
And with so much stress and anxiety in our lives.
Exactly.
It's no wonder people are seeking out experiences that make them feel relaxed and cared for.
And ASMR videos, they often create the sense of intimacy and personal attention.
Okay.
Even though it's happening through a screen.
Right.
There's something comforting about hearing someone whisper softly,
Yeah.
focusing their attention solely on you, the viewer, it taps into our human need for connection.
It's almost like having a virtual friend who's always there to soothe your frazzled nerves.
Totally. And as research continues to explore the physiological and psychological effects of ASMR, we might find even more compelling reasons why it's captured the hearts of minds.
Yeah, from the ears.
And ears of so many people around the world.
Wait.
This is all so fascinating.
It is.
But it also raises a lot of questions.
Yeah, like what are the implications of ASMR's growing popularity?
Yay.
Could it be harnessed for therapeutic purposes?
Yeah.
And what ethical considerations might arise as ASMR becomes increasingly commercialized?
Those are all important questions.
Yeah.
And ones that we need to address as ASMR continues to evolve.
For sure.
Let's dive into those deeper implications in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay. I'm ready to keep exploring. Don't go anywhere, listeners. We'll be right back to wrap up our deep dive into the world of ASMR. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've journeyed through the world of ASMR.
We have.
From those tingly sensations to the science behind them.
The research.
And its surprising rise in mainstream culture.
It's everywhere.
But now it's time to grapple with some of the bigger questions that ASMR's popularity raises. Like, could it be a powerful tool for therapeutic purposes? What happens when something so personal becomes increasingly commercialized?
Yeah, those are some big questions.
They are. We touched on the therapeutic potential earlier. We did. But some of the research suggests that ASMR might be able to reduce stress, improve sleep, even help with chronic pain.
It's pretty amazing.
It makes you wonder, could this be a whole new frontier in alternative therapies?
The possibilities are really intriguing.
Yeah.
Remember those studies we talked about that showed ASMR's ability to lower heart rate and induce relaxation?
Yeah.
Those findings are incredibly promising.
They are.
Imagine if we could harness the power of ASMR to help people manage anxiety, insomnia.
Wow.
Even chronic pain conditions, all without medication.
That would be revolutionary.
It would.
I guess we have to be cautious, though, right? More research is needed before we can say for sure what ASMR can really do.
You're absolutely right. While the initial findings are exciting, it's important to remember that we're still in the early stages of understanding ASMR's therapeutic potential.
Okay.
We need more rigorous clinical trials to confirm these benefits and understand any potential risks.
That makes sense. So let's say the research pans out and ASMR does prove to have these therapeutic benefits. What about the ethical side of things?
That's where things get complex.
Okay.
You know, as ASMR moves beyond those DIY YouTube videos to more commercialized applications, we need to be mindful of potential issues.
Yeah, but what kind of issues?
Well, these ASMR artists, they're putting themselves out there in very personal and vulnerable ways.
They are.
As the demand for ASMR content grows, we need to make sure they're not being exploited or pressured to create content that pushes boundaries for the sake of views and profits.
Yeah, it's like any creative field, I guess.
Exactly.
There's a need to find a balance between artistic expression, audience demand, and ethical considerations.
For sure. But what about the people consuming ASMR content?
Oh, yeah. Are there any ethical considerations for the viewers?
Absolutely. It's crucial to remember that ASMR is not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Okay.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Right.
And some people might even experience negative reactions to certain ASMR triggers.
So viewers need to be aware of how ASMR affects them personally.
Exactly. Approach ASMR with a sense of self-awareness and listen to your body.
Okay.
If something doesn't feel right, stop and explore other relaxation techniques that might be a better fit for you.
That's really good advice. It's a good reminder that even though ASMR seems to be gaining popularity, it's not a replacement for professional medical care.
Right.
If you're struggling with serious mental or physical health issues.
Couldn't agree more. But beyond those therapeutic and ethical questions, there's a more fundamental question that keeps me up at night.
Ooh, tell me, what is it?
Why does ASMR work for some people and not others?
That's a great question.
What is it about our individual brains and sensory processing that makes some of us so susceptible to those tingles and feelings of euphoria, while others just don't get it?
Yeah, it's almost like some people have unlocked a secret sensory superpower, while others are left wondering what all the fuss is about.
Totally.
I wonder if it's linked to those personality traits we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
Like openness to experience, sensitivity to sensations. Or maybe there's something deeper, some underlying neurological difference that hasn't been discovered yet.
Exactly. The answer to that question could have huge implications.
Wow.
Not just for our understanding of ASMR, but for how we understand the brain itself.
The brain.
It could give us insights into how we process sensory information, how we experience pleasure, and even how we form social bonds. It's a whole new frontier of scientific exploration.
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. So what's the bottom line for our listeners today? What have we learned about ASMR?
I think it's safe to say that ASMR is more than just a passing internet fad.
Okay.
It's a complex sensory experience with the potential for relaxation, emotional regulation, and perhaps even therapeutic benefits.
Yeah.
It's a cultural phenomenon that's pushing boundaries and inspiring new forms of artistic expression.
For sure.
And ultimately, it's raising profound questions about the nature of our brains and what it means to be human.
Wow, that's quite a legacy for something that started with people whispering into microphones on YouTube.
It really is, and it feels like we're just at the beginning.
Yeah.
As research continues to explore the mysteries of ASMR, who knows what other wonders we'll uncover.
And that, my friends, is the beauty of the deep dive.
I love it.
We start with a simple question and end up tumbling down a rabbit hole of knowledge and discovery, uncovering new perspectives and possibilities along the way.
That's what we do.
So to our listener, if you're feeling curious, I encourage you to explore ASMR for yourself. See what it's all about.
Give it a try.
You might just unlock a whole new world of sensory delight, and who knows, you might even learn something new about yourself in the process.
You never know.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.